Good morning, everyone. My name is Ahmad Sahar. You can call me Kodasha, and welcome to build your first Flutter app. You don't need to install anything for today's session because we will just be using the Chrome browser. So I'm going to start the session at 11 a.m. So in the meantime, you can go to dartpad.dev, and you can try out some of the samples that's already there. For instance, if you want to see the counter app, you choose counter from the samples menu. And you can see that the app will appear on the right side of the screen. It's fully functional. You can tap the plus button. Then you can see that the app is working. You might want to change the size of the screen, something like that. Okay. So we'll be starting in just about 3 minutes time. After you've gone to dartpad.dev and you've tried out some of the samples, you can remove all the code that's on the screen. Just leave the package statement, but everything else can go because we're going to be building an app from scratch. So I'm just going to check to see if my stream is actually working. Okay, it seems like it is actually working, so that's great. It seems like it is actually working, so that's great. Okay. Now, I won't be able to look at the messages in the comments while I'm actually doing this because I'm on my own. I don't have anyone else helping me. But do leave a comment, and when I get to the end of the session, right, we can then discuss whatever points that you have together. Now, a lot more information can be found on the Flutter website. So you can go to flutter.dev. Right, just click on the Get Started button. And here you can see there's a lot of help and guides. And over here, you can see under samples of tutorials, you'll be able to see tons of code labs for you to familiarize yourself with Flutter. Okay, let's go back to Dartpad. Now, the first line that you see there is an import statement. And this import statement imports a package called material.dart. Flutter applications, they have a distinctive look and feel. We call that material app design. You can see an example of it in the sample app here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the simplest possible Flutter app as follows. So that is the entire program in one line. So this is a little hard to read. Now you'll notice that as I type this, okay, I'm entering commas here and here. So the commas are just basically a formatting aid, so that when you click on the format button, your code will automatically be formatted as you see here. And let's click on run. And that is the result. This is the simplest possible Flutter app, right? So here you can see that all Flutter apps have a main function, and I'm calling the run app method. And the run app method takes as an argument an instance of material app, which is a Flutter app. And here I've set the title to be about me. And as the home page or the first page the user sees, the text object here or the text widget here has the words about me, and that is why you see about me on the screen. Flutter is all about widgets. You can think of as widgets as pieces of functionality, and you can compose your entire user interface with widgets. Widgets can be embedded in other widgets. As you can see here, I have a widget material app, and then here I'm setting the home property of material app to a text widget. Now the text widget appears on the upper left side of the screen, and if I wanted it to be at the center of the screen, what I would do is I would embed this text widget in a center widget as follows. So here I type center, and then I enclose the text widget with it. Oh, yeah. That should fix it. Yeah, it does. So here you can see that the center widget has a child property, and I'm setting the text widget as its child. Click on format, code is automatically formatted, click on run. Then you can see that about me now appears in the center of the screen. So that's good. Now, one of the very useful widgets that you have when you're building a Flutter app is called Scaffold. And the Scaffold widget has what is called a navigation bar at the top of the screen. And it has a content area under the navigation bar where you can put your content. So let's go ahead and use the Scaffold widget. So instead of the center widget that I have here, I am going to change the whole thing. So I'm going to use the Scaffold widget. Now it has an app bar property, which is an instance of app bar. And the app bar widget has got a title property. And I'm going to put a text widget in it. Okay, so comma there, comma there. Now I have a body property. And that will be an instance of container. And I'm not going to put anything in this container right now. I'm just going to set the color of the container to red. And now I can no longer use the const modifier here. Let's format. Okay. Probably another comma here won't hurt. Let's format. Everything's nicely formatted now. So what I have here is an instance of material app. The title is set to about me. Then the home property, or the first screen the user sees, is set to an instance of scaffold. And here the scaffold has got two properties, app bar and body. So for the app bar, it's an instance of the app bar with the text about me. And body, I just put an empty container with a color set to red. So when I click on run, that is what you get. Now for fun, you can try changing red to another color, say green. And you can see the color will change to green. So far, we have been using widgets that are built in. These are the widgets that have already been declared and defined for you, such as material app, such as scaffold, such as app bar, such as container. What happens if you want to do your own custom widgets? Then what you can do is you can declare a subclass of the stateless widget, and you can do as you wish. So I will now declare a subclass, my widget, and the parent is an instance of stateless widget. One of the things that is a little bit of a disadvantage when I'm using the web is that there's no autocomplete. But for simple apps or when you're just learning, it's fine. Now, the next thing that you have here is the build method. So this basically tells the widget how to draw itself. And you can think of the context as a place for you to draw, like a scratch pad or a surface. So I'm just going to return an instance of container. Where the color property is set to blue. And we have a semicolon here. And yeah, no more errors. So if I were to run this, absolutely nothing is going to happen because I've declared and defined my widget, but I haven't actually started using the widget. So to use the widget, I'm going to replace the container widget here with my widget. Okay, and then when I run it, you can see now the body of the app is set to blue. Okay, so that means I'm actually using my widget now. Right. Now in this widget, what we have is a container right now. But what I want to do is I want to create a kind of like about me application. It's going to show my name, it's going to show my photograph, it's going to show my company name, it's going to show my contact information and so on. So to present that information, I am going to use a column widget, which allows me to stack widgets on top of one another for presentation on the screen. So over here, instead of using the container, I'm going to replace it with a column. And in the column, I'm going to set the children property. Notice that it is children and not child because a column can have more than one child. So we have a list. And in this list, the first element is a text object. Let's format that so it looks nice. And I click on run. You can see now my name appears there. Great. Let's put in a second text object, a text widget actually, which is my company name. And click on run. Now you'll notice that everything on the screen is right next to the sides and top of the screen. So you can see the word Amasaha is just flush against the edge of the navigation bar and to the left side of the screen. That's not ideal. So what I am going to do is I'm going to encapsulate my column widget in a padding widget. So that allows me to set space between the sides and the top of the two text widgets so that it looks a little better. So to do that, just going to create a padding widget here. Now for the padding widget, it has got a padding property. And it has a child property where I'm going to put in my column. Then over here, let's just enclose that. Click on Format. Okay, so we have a padding widget. In the padding widget, we have a column widget. In the column widget, we have our two text widgets in the list. Run that. And now you can see the padding has been applied. You also have rows in addition to columns. If you want to lay out objects vertically, you use a column. If you want to lay out objects horizontally, you use a row. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add a row here. Let's just take out this const first because it's going to give me an error later. Okay, let's check the formatting. Format successful. So what I have here is a row. Now main axis alignment space around. That means when you are laying out the items in a row, have some spaces before and after each item. Okay, so when I click on run, okay, you can see that there is a space here. And there is a space here. So the items are nicely positioned on the screen. Now let's have another row. And in this second row, I'm going to put some icons in it, right? So because I'm a lazy person, I'm just going to cut and paste the existing row. Okay, let's format that first. Then let's run. Okay, so you can see that is what I have right now. So I'm just going to replace the text widgets with icons. couple of syntax errors here. Let's fix that. You can take out this last line. Okay, that looks good, and run. And now the text should be replaced with a row of icons. Great. Kind of boring having them all black. Let's change the icon colors. Okay. So that's nicely formatted. And now the icons are going to be more colorful. Right. Now that I've done the icons, let's go ahead and style the text. We use the style property for the text widget. Okay. Any errors? No errors. Let's check that out. Now you can see the phone number has been styled. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Let's say I don't need this to be italic. Yeah. So let's run. Okay, so now both the city and the phone number have been styled. The other thing that you can do is that you can use the style from the existing theme. And this is handy because if you change the overall theme of your tab from a light theme to a dark theme, then if you are basing the style of an existing theme, that style will be modified to match. So it's really easy to do. I'll just have to set the style theme of context. So the context will have a text theme, and the text theme you can choose to use an existing style. And just repeat this process for the name. Okay. See if there's any formatting that needs to be done. That looks good. Let's click on Run. All right. So you can see that the name and the company name have already been styled. Next, I want to put a picture. So for that, I'm going to use an image widget. Now what you need for the image widget, okay, is a URL pointing to an image that exists on the internet. I'm just going to Google myself and just see on the images. Okay, here's one. And I'm going to right click on the image and I'm going to choose copy image address. Then I go back to Dartpad and paste this address in. Then I click on Run. And now my image appears in the app. Okay, now the image and the name is a bit too close together, and ditto for the company name and the phone number and the state. So what I can do is I can put spaces in the form of a size box widget. So let's put one here. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so there's a nice space there. And I can just copy and paste this. So it's one after the two text objects. It's one after the row. And there's one more here. And I think we are done. Okay. So you can see I've started at 11 o'clock and it is now 11:24, and I have built a simple About Me application that shows a picture of me and some text and some icons. So you can just do this very easily with Flutter. And if you were to copy and paste this into VS Code with the Flutter extensions installed, or you paste this into Android Studio with the Flutter extensions installed, you can actually run this on an iOS device or iOS emulator or Android emulator or Android device. So I hope with this short session, you can see how easy it is to build apps using Flutter, even if you don't have you don't have Android Studio or VS Code or anything else installed. You can just play around with this using the Chrome browser. So I hope that this session has been interesting and informative. And perhaps we can do some more sessions if there is demand. So to end, I'd say to you, thank you very much for joining me today for this brief session. Stay safe and take care.